Hello everyone, welcome back. We're playing the Artisan of Glimmith. We're using pure logic playthrough. We've solved 398 puzzles so far. We are in the mismatch area of the world. Mismatches meaning all the shapes have to be different inside the region. We've got a 6 back here. We've got a 6 down here. We've got a 6 right here. And I think there was a 5 somewhere as well. All that to say, I think it's time for us to do some 6s. Oh, this looks beautiful. Mismatch with rose windows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 regions in 64 spaces. Every region is going to need a circle, a triangle, and a square. Let's start with this guy. It could go this way. It could go this way, but it can't go any further because that would be the region. So it may take this one. I don't know, but it at minimum must take this one, and it must come here because it does have to have a square and a triangle in it. We don't have our triangle yet, so this is going to still grow. It's going to come up. It can't go to the left. It can't go to the right, so it will come here. At a minimum, it has to be at least this. It can be bigger. I could grow it to the right. I could grow it down here, but we'll stop. I'm going to come to this one right here. This is not the same region. It has to grow. We don't have a circle yet. We have to grow. We already have a triangle, so we have to grow. And now we have 2 shapes that are the same. One of these will have to grow, or both, but it's not both. And here's how I can tell you. If this takes this one and this takes this one, by the way, I would like more colors in my palette. We're back. We have the same shape again. So exactly one of these will grow. I don't know which one it is. Let's start with this circle. It has to grow. This circle has to grow. Can't grow left and right. It has to grow to the right. It can't grow up or to the left. It has to go to the right. This one has to grow. We'll take it to the right. It has to keep growing. It can't go that direction, so it has to come in. We have a W pentomino. This could grow one more, but I don't know. But this one does grow. It can't keep going. It has to go here. We have 2 W's again. One of these will grow. I don't know which one it is. We'll come back to it. This has to grow. Can't go that direction. It has to grow. This has to grow. This has to grow. Already has a triangle. It has to go. This shape is done. Remember, we have 2 shapes that are the same. So this one takes that shape and that finishes off. This does not have to grow anymore, but this one does. And I need a triangle. So I could go over here, but that's a dead end. So no matter what, I have to keep growing, and I'm going to have to keep growing. Now, I have an S. I've already got an S. I can't stop there. So I may have to take one of these shapes. I may grow this direction, but I'm not going to grow this direction because of this guy. He has to grow. That's a new region. Has to grow. Has to grow. Can't grow that way. Has to grow. We've got our 3rd W. By the way, this L locked in. 3 W's. 2 of these W's will have to grow. I don't know which one it is. We will come back to that. This is, let's just draw lines where we know for sure we are separated. Okay, this is coming along. This circle, not super constrained. It could come out like this. It could come out like that. We got some squares in here that are hemmed in by triangles. They can escape through one triangle. We got a circle in the middle here. One, two, three, four, 5 shapes that we have not connected. These are all connected shapes. Some of these can keep growing, but regardless, the 3 shapes are linked together. So here's what I'm going to try to do. Can I start linking shapes together, even if I don't know the full shape. Can I say like this circle cannot be joined with that square? I think I can. I think it's pretty easy to show too. No matter how this circle gets here, it's going to cut this one off, this circle off from a square. So the only way I could do, I would have to go up and around this square so that this could connect. But as soon as I do that, I'm going to collect a triangle, which means I can't get down to this guy. So doing this direct, this guy can't get to his other. Going around, I get blocked. So this one cannot go with this one. Can this go with this one? And the answer is actually, I think maybe it can, because these are okay. That's not a problem. Can it go with this one up here? The answer is no, because I can't get in. There's this wall of triangles and this circle that prevent me from weaving my way in. There's no way. So these two are not in the same region. These obviously could be in the same region. So I have this and this. What about this one up here? The answer is also no. I can't get through the circles. I have to take this triangle, and then I have two triangles. So that one's. So this circle goes with this square or this square. Those two. What about this circle? Can it go with this square right here? And I think that creates a problem for this guy. He can't get a square anymore. So these can't go together. And if this circle takes any other, this square is orphaned. So I think we can start with at least that these two go together. Again, it could go down. It doesn't have to take this one, but they're together. This is also going to limit. I'm going to go back to the W logic. Two of these have to grow. But if these two grew, we're stuck with the same shape again. So this is the one that has to grow. And it can't grow anymore. It's done. Which means one of these has to grow, and it can't grow into this shape. So if I grow like this, same shape. If I grow like this, same shape. So I could grow here. It could take this one as well, but at a minimum, it does take this, and this is a W. Now this does force this to come around. By the way, I don't need this right here. I don't know if this takes this or not. This will take one of the triangles. Not sure which one, but it'll take one of them. This has to grow. Can't go down. It has to grow. Can't go down. Has to grow. This has to grow. I don't have a V, so if I do that, that's okay. This would be an S. It would have to keep growing. And then I come here, and I'm at this shape, right? These are the same shape. So taking this triangle is problematic. This keeps growing. This grows in. So this is a different shape. It has to grow. This does not have to grow. This does not. This has to grow, but all of these are valid. This guy has to grow. It feels like this just goes straight across. I mean, I see solutions, but I'm trying like, how is that the only solution? Again, we don't want just finding a solution. We want to find the solution. All right, this could grow one more. That is valid. If it doesn't grow anymore, that's also valid. These are valid. These are no, there's no. All right, here's the question. Can this take that triangle? Ooh, that creates a no for two reasons. One, it blocks, this guy has to come out, right? And then it's going to have to get a triangle, and this needs a square still, and it can't get to a square. So this fails for multiple reasons, but I think it's really important to know that this has to grow, and that makes it a whole lot easier. Now, can that be a region? It can. And actually, it can't grow anymore. It can't grow anymore. We already have a circle square. This has to grow. This can't be orphan. This has to grow. This has to grow, has to grow. T is valid. I don't have to grow that anymore. This has to grow. This needs a square, so we'll take that. These have to connect together, so we have a T so far. We have a T, we have a T, we have a T. We have three T's, we have an I, we have a V. So I can turn this into a P, I can turn this into a Y, and I can turn this into an F. I don't have any, I don't have to change all of them though. Like, that's... If this came up, and this is a T, then this would be a P, and this would be a... These are that's what I was looking for. These are the same shape right now. This has to grow. This has to be a T. This can't be a T. This can't be a T. All right. I was looking for the contradiction, and I was missing this shape. I used the game's checker to help me out, folks. I hope that's not cheating. But we found a beautiful puzzle. All right, 2 6s down here. We'll do this one. Mismatch and rose windows. All right, well, let's just start drawing some lines. These are all separate regions. These are all separate regions. That's a separate region. That's a separate region. So this has to grow. Where is this getting a circle? And the answer is it's not going this way to get it. So it has to come up. These are separate regions. This has to come up. This doesn't have to grow anymore, but it can. Same question with this one. Going this way, it could take all of these, but it still doesn't have a circle, so it has to keep growing. So that's the case. These have the same thing. They could come down, they could come around the bottom. It doesn't matter. They have to go to get a circle. So it's going to have to come up. This has to come up to get a circle. This has to come up to get a circle. And this will have to come up to get a circle. So they all grab their circles. They're all the same length. So some of these are going to have to grow. This can grow up at one more. It can grow across the bottom a lot more. This circle must join with this square. And we can prove that by doing the opposite. If this circle joins with this square, this circle cannot reach that square. So these are stuck together, these are stuck together. So now look at the puzzle, folks. We are stuck with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regions that are all a 3-cell growth. We have 1, 2, 8, 12 spaces to change these shapes. We can grow them. So how in the world do we do this? Without just resorting to trial and error. So like I said, there's 8 regions so far, and there are only 8 regions total. I have exactly 12, right? 6, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 spaces I can grow these regions. I don't have to grow all of them. I can leave one of them the same. So if I leave one of them the same, I have 7 regions that I can add 12 to. Now, I can say this. How many tetromino shapes are there? The answer is 5. Right? Square, line, L, S, T. And we're not making any T's. And we're not making any squares. So we take 2 of those off. We're down to 3 possibilities. We can't even make a T. We can make L's and we can make lines. I can make an L and I can make a line. That's it. This is okay. Hold on. Let's think through this here. Because I can't even make a T. There's no place I can even make a T. So I've got a 3. I have an L. I have an I. Those are 3 shapes I can make. I still have 5 more I need to make. I just used 3 of my 12. So I have 9 remaining cells, right? 6, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to use 2 to make an I and a L. So that directs me down to 10. And I'm going to have to make each of these. I'm going to have to add 2 to each of these to make them pentominoes. And I only have 5 regions. So that's it. So I have to make 5 pentominoes, 2 tetrominoes, and a 3. That's it. So let's get at it. Now, which pentominoes can I make? I can make a 5 length. I can make a 5L. I can make a V. No, I could. Yeah, this would be my 3 then. A V. Can I make an F? No, there's a place to do an F. Can't make a plus. Can't do a W. Can I do a Z? Is there a place to do a Z? I can't even do a Z. I could do an S, a long S. So L, I, S, V. I can do 4. I need 1 more minimum. P. Can I do a P? No, no P. A Y. I could do a Y. Not many places, but I could do a Y. A T. I could do a T. That T feels kind of good. Not gonna lie. I mean, I think that's. I need to start writing these things out so I just have them all my shapes. I need to get a pentomino cheat sheet so I don't have to keep thinking through all of them. All right, the S I can do here. I can do here. The F I could do here. The Y, I mean the Y, not the F. But I think this is a problem. Like doing an S here. This creates. I would have to connect this to this region. That makes that the I. I could put I's anywhere. If I make this the F, the Y. Like, what about U's? Can I do a U anywhere? No, I can't do a U. The V feels okay down here. if I had a V and a T, an L and an I, there's this L, that, and I. Yeah. How do I prove that, though? How do I prove that? I mean, I locked it down what letters I needed. I mean, it came down to just how constrained this section is right here. So I guess if we look at this, we know there's a 3. Where do I put my 3? What I don't do is I don't make this my 3. Like, that's stupid. This one has the most room to grow. This at most could be a 4. As soon as this is, well, I mean, I say that. It could go L. But when it does that, that makes this a 3 and this a 4. But then now this can't grow because it'd be the same shape as that. I still do my V. What does this become? It can't be the I and it can't be the L. So I have to make it like the giant I. Then what are these? This is the little L. We already have a little L. The big L, already have the big L. I mean, if you guys know, I'm trying to show that the solution I had was the solution, but why? There's a piece of logic here that forces that solution that I stumbled upon. I stumbled upon it. We didn't prove it. I don't feel comfortable at all saying I proved that was the solution. I proved that I needed a length 3. I need 2 length 4s. I need an L and I need an I. Like, we proved that, and then we need 5 pentominoes. So I have to add 1 to 2 regions, leave 1 region alone, and then add 2 to 2 regions. So let's start with this guy right here. I have to connect this to a region. It has to be one of these regions. The only region I can connect it to is this one. So that is forced. That's good logic. This has to connect to a region. It only has 2 options, this region or this region. If I connect it to this region, I duplicate a shape. That is not valid. So this is going to go to this region. I have 2 options there, L or S. All right, let's keep that in the back of our minds. Either way, this region has to grow. I think we can say that. If it didn't grow, then that means it's the 3. Oh, let's start with this. This has to grow. This has to grow. These 2 are together. Let's change colors here. These 2 go together. All right, so where does this connect? Good question. It's either connected to here or it's connected to a different region. So what about this? Where does this connect? It's connected either to here or to this region. If I connect this to here, I make this the L. Now I'm forcing this to take this. This cell is in no man's land. So I'm forcing a second L. So this can't connect to that. It connects to this. This could be the 4. It does not have to grow. If it does grow, it can't grow down. It would have to grow here. This cell has to connect to something. It's either connecting to here or it's connecting to here. All right, let's do this logic. If this connects to here, what's this connect to? This cell's done. This one's done. This one connects here. One of these has to grow. If this grows, we get that region. If this grows, we get that region. That fails. So this can't connect here. It does connect here. That region's done. This can't be orphaned. That has to connect here. This could be a 3. It could be a 3. It could be a 4, or it could be a 5. This could be a 4 or a 5. I hope you guys see the difference with the logic I'm doing now versus when I was just playing around and I got the solution. This is why I'm saying we want to say like this is forced. There aren't other ways to do this, and I don't like to say, well, yeah, we found a solution and it's too hard to find a second one. We don't want to do stuff like that. We really want to tease the logic out of the puzzle, because the creators of these puzzles, they put this logic there for us to discover. And we're doing them a disservice when we can't find it. I don't find all of it. I know I don't, but I'm going to keep looking. All right, what about this one right here? What are our options? Where does this cell connect? There's only 2. There's only 2. It's either connecting to this one. That breaks. Same region. So it has to connect to this region. That has to happen. All right, we're down to 4 regions. One of these is a 3. 2 of these are a 4, and one of them is a 5. So let's ask the question, is this the 5? Nope. Is this the 5? Not that way. Not that way. Nope. Is this the 5? Nope. Nope. So which one's the 5? That one. All right. One of these is a 3. And 2 of these are a 4. One is a 3. 2 are a 4. If I make this a 4, then this has to be a 4. And we collide. This is not the 4. This is the 3. So this is the 4. That's a 4. Much cleaner solve. All right, folks, I know if I start this next puzzle, I am not finishing it in the time we have. I'm going to cut this off right here. We are going to have a slightly shorter episode. This will be our, oh, wait, hold on. Maybe there's some other puzzles that we haven't looked at that are shorter we can do real quick. We can do this one. We'll do this one, folks. I'm not done. Mismatch. We have precision 5. We need 4 shapes in here. 4 shapes. All right. I could put a Z down here. I could put a Z right here. I could put a P. I could put a P. We could do a Z. Can I do any W's? W is not going to work in this puzzle. Pluses are going to be tough as well. X's are going to be tough. Lines are okay. T's are tough in here. T is tough. I'm going to divide this. I'm going to look at this from a, if I divide this up, there's 8. So I cannot get 2 full shapes in here, which means I'm going to need 2 more. Now, it doesn't have to be this shape here. And it could be something like, it could do something, super long like this, right? But the point being, there's one shape that fills most of this and then another shape that comes out. So it could be something like this, right? That just takes out. This is not the answer, though, because see what it does down here? It creates that 4. And same thing if we do it like this. We put a Z here. This has to come out. This can't be another Z. So it comes out. So again, these corners are very restricted. Now this Z is probably less restricted. It's actually not, because this comes out, it comes out, and we end up with a second Z. So maybe Z's are not possible in here. What about that Z? That's the same one, isn't it? It's the same thing. If I put P in here, I can do a P like that or like that. We could put a U, but now we're stuck with a second P. So we make that a Z, but now we're stuck here. The whole point is these areas are very constrained. If I put the Z here and a V and a P, I get a second P. That was looking promising. We can't do anything like that. We could do something like this. Put a P here, but that makes a P, so we make it a T. We end up with a P and a P. That is interesting, though, putting the T like this. I kind of like this. I don't think it works because of how this has to grow, but that's an interesting... So I'm trying to figure out, where do I draw the lines in this puzzle to... Because right, there's essentially, like, I can do something like this, and we have, you know, two different shapes. But like this shape right here, this is what we have. Is this a viable shape? And the answer is, no matter what I do in here, this can't be divided like this, because we just end up with the P problem. And can I do anything like this? Well, this comes out, comes over, and now we're stuck with two L's. And that's pretty much forced. So that doesn't work. What about if I do something like this? This has to come up, and it comes over. This has to come down, has to come over, and we end up with double V. That's not good. So what other ways can we draw this? Like this? I mean, we end up with but this is coming down here. I can't break that off, and we double Z. This is creating double P. And we just... This is what we just did. I'm just trying to see if there's a way I can divide this into sections. What about something like this? I think this just gets us Z's. Z's and L's. All right, if I divide this in half, Like putting a V in here, this comes out, this comes out, but then this comes out, this comes out. V doesn't work. I hate starting with P's. P's seems so... An L, a Z, an S, and now we have an L. It's close. It's close. I like the use of S's. Where's the break-in on this? If I do anything like this, if there's a line here, this just forces this to be a choke point, and there's a P immediately. But then this has to come out. It can't be a P. It could be an S. Nope, because we have a P down here now. We can make it an F, a Z, and an L. That is the solution. But how am I supposed to find that? I don't like this. I don't like this. How am I supposed to see that solution? So I put a line. What if okay, I'm saying this is not a line. This is connected. Why does this break? I don't know how to prove that. I can make an L. I can make a Z. Well, we know this doesn't work. The Z doesn't work because that forces a second Z. Because that's a... So... And I can't... I can make a U. If I make a U, the problem is a U makes 2 P's. 3 P's. So the U doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. All right. So if I take these two, this can't. This forces that to be a line. This can't be there, so that's a line. Now we're into this has to grow. It's going to take 2 of these. As soon as it has to take 2 of these, it has to take these 2. This has to grow. L is no longer available to us. I can do a P, but that makes 3 P's. So P's off limits. So don't make a P. So we make a T. We still end up with 2 P's. We put an L, that violate. Oh, no, we don't do it. We can do a Z. Nope, Z can't do the L. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that this configuration, once I have connected these two, I'm forcing P's down here. There's just no way to fill these up without making P's. I can try to put a Z in here, but that makes an L, and that makes a Z. If I make that a P, this has to be a P. I mean, there's just, yeah. So, I mean, this is so hard. I don't really like this, but this has to be a region. And as soon as that happens, this comes out. This must take, it can't take this one. This region is separate from that. So this is the P. This can be connected. If it's not connected, If we do the S, that makes a P. We can't make a P, so these can't be connected. So that has to grow. That has to grow. Can't make a P, so this one's gonna have, and it can't go this way, so this has to come down. No, this isn't right. The line here, I drew the line here and I can't draw the line there. Drawing the line there forces this basically into a V, which forces this into a V. So I can't draw a line there. These do have to be connected. If I come down this direction, I can't go that direction, so I make the S, that forces a P. So I can't come down that direction. So I have to come down this direction, can't go there, can't go here, I have to go here. This has to come out. I mean, that is the solution. It's just really, really hard breaking. That's a really, really hard break-in. All right, this has gone over longer than I wanted to. I thought that was going to be a little easier than that. We got it, but I can't say I definitively showed that to be the case. We do have two more. I don't even know where they are. Like, I should be able to see these puzzles. Are there more down here or something? Oh, there's one back here. Okay, I'm going to leave it right here so I can find that one, because that's hidden. Folks, thank you so much for the support. Again, we're going to have the Hearth and Hamlet playthrough coming up here, so be on the lookout for that. I hope you enjoy that as well. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.